everyone, and welcome to week 10 of my Real Men picks. This is an important week because we are creeping closer to those fantasy playoffs. And as you can see, my picture this week is a little funny because I was at the Bears-Chargers game for Monday Night Football. We're going to get into that footage a little bit later, but it was awesome. So let me just get started with our picks for this week because, like I said, we're creeping up closer to the playoffs, so every week is important, and we're still in those bye weeks. So let me get into my first go-hard pick this week. And my first go-hard pick this week is running back Lamar Miller of the Miami Dolphins. And I know he wasn't doing a lot at the beginning of the season, trust me. But I do have to say that since their bye week, he has had a touchdown in every single game, and he's had over 100 yards in 3 out of their 4 games after their bye week. So obviously Joe Philbin was fired, and their offense has been doing a lot better. The team as a whole has been playing a lot better since they have their interim head coach. They play versus the Eagles this week, and the last 2 weeks, Jonathan Stewart and Darren McFadden have both rushed for over 100 yards versus the Eagles. So the Eagles were a little bit better against the rush earlier in the year, but these past 2 weeks, they have not been holding it down on defense. And the thing about Lamar Miller is if he's not getting a lot of yards on the ground, Miami uses him in their passing game a lot. Of course, we love that for PPR points. So you really don't have to worry. He's in the game a lot. And like I said, if he's not getting you a ton of yards on the ground, they're going to throw him in there and use him in the passing game. They will get him going no matter what. So this is a good pick versus the Eagles this week. Definitely get him in your lineup. Now, my second go-hard pick is kind of a shocker, but yes, quarterback Kirk Cousins of the Redskins. And again, I know you guys are probably thinking, what the heck? He really hasn't done a whole lot this year. He's not the most impressive quarterback by any means. But hey, he is playing the Saints defense this week, and I don't know if you've seen the Saints secondary lately, but they have been pretty horrible. They have given up 17 passing touchdowns in the last 4 weeks. 17 passing touchdowns. That is incredibly bad. They are by far right now the worst secondary in the league. They have also allowed over 300 yards passing in 6 games this season. We're only in week 10, people, and 6 quarterbacks have thrown for over 300 yards against these Saints. They do let Cousins pass the ball quite a bit. A lot of that is also because the Redskins are usually behind in a lot of games, so they're having to pass a lot to catch up. But Kirk Cousins actually has 40 or more passing attempts in 5 games this season, so he's going to be out there throwing the ball, especially against this bad Saints secondary. And the Saints offense has gotten it together a lot more than they were in the beginning of the season, and they're scoring a lot of points. So this could be a game that if the Saints get ahead, the Redskins, again, might be coming from behind. They might have to score a lot of points to win this game. So this is a game, if there's a week that you're going to put him in, this is the week to do it. I know we have some quarterbacks on a bye this week. He's out there on a ton of waiver wires. He's a guy you can pick up, and this is a great matchup to have him in. Let me move it on to my go softs this week. These are the guys that aren't going to get you as many points. One go soft for this week is wide receiver Jeremy Maclin, and he is playing against the Broncos defense. Maclin, as we know, wide receivers in Kansas City do not get a lot of touchdowns, and Maclin only has 2 touchdowns so far this season, so he's not getting in the end zone. That's killing you right there. He only has 6 catches even in the last 2 games. So I know he had a couple weeks. He's been up and down this season. He had a couple weeks that he was good, but the last 2 weeks have not looked good at all. And he only has 2 100-yard games this season. So he's not getting you over 100 yards most weeks. He's not getting in the end zone. And this is a very, very tough matchup for him against these Broncos. The Broncos have only allowed 1 touchdown to a wide receiver and 1 100-yard game from a wide receiver. So we know how good this Broncos defense is. I know they didn't look phenomenal against the Colts last week, but this defense is good. They are going to be back on track playing Kansas City. And let's face it, Alex Smith does not have a lot of time because his offensive line is not very good. He's been sacked 28 times, which is the second most out of any quarterback in the league so far. So if your quarterback doesn't have time, it makes things even harder for the wide receivers because they don't have time to get open. And it's just not a good situation to play Jeremy Maclin in this week. I hate the matchup, so you need to find someone else to put in for him. And my second go soft for this week is the Vikings defense. Yes, the Vikings defense. I know, they've kind of been going under the radar a little bit this year, but they've been playing very good. But I don't like their matchup this week. They're playing the Raiders, and they're playing the Raiders in Oakland, so it's an away game for this defense. But the Raiders' offense is actually the 8th best in the league right now, and they score an average of 26.6 points per game. I know that's kind of impressive that the Raiders' offense is a top 10 offense, but yes, they are. Derek Carr and company, they've really been getting it together over there. He has 11 passing touchdowns in the last 3 weeks, so he is playing pretty lights out right now. They're definitely creating a better balance between the run and pass in that Raider offense as well, so that makes things a lot harder for the defense. You can't just shut down the run because Carr can pass the ball, and then you can't just shut down the pass because they can run the ball. So having that balance is helping the Raiders. I think it's going to be difficult for the Vikings defense to really lock down on that. And I know, like I said, the Vikings defense has been playing really good this season, but they have only played one top 10 offense so far this season. So yeah, on paper they look great. Teams aren't scoring many points against them, but also they're not playing the top offenses in the league so far this season. So again, I don't like this matchup. It's in Oakland. If you have another defense to start, I just don't think the Vikings defense is going to be able to do a ton against this Raider offense. So there you go. Those are my picks for this week. We're going to move it on over to Greg's Beasting Out picks. And then we, of course, have a special fan segment for you after that. So let's hand it off and let's hear from Greg with his Beasting Out pick.